Hi, everyone. I'm Teresa Palacios Smith, and this is Women Who Lead, a space where stories of courage, authenticity, and leadership come alive. There's a quote that I love that says, "Courage doesn't recognize borders. It rises wherever women dare to lead." And that's exactly what today's show is about. From the elegance of Italy to the vibrant coast of Baja, Mexico, and the global network connecting continents, women around the world are proving that leadership knows no borders. So grab your cafecito, everyone, and settle in because today we are going to be spotlighting trailblazing spirits, powerhouse women who are leading across continents, turning vision into opportunity, and showing us what it really means to lead with heart, courage, and connection. So let me introduce our panelists today. Today I have Dr. Marina Rizzotto, who is the founder and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Palazzo Estates in Italy, a visionary who has expanded the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services brand, and Marina blends elegance and entrepreneurial courage to redefine luxury real estate on a global stage, especially in the Italian coast. Welcome, Marina, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Teresa. I'm very glad to
Michelle,
be.
me too, me too. Michelle Wilhelm is the owner and chief operating officer of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Baja Real Estate, the operational heartbeat of Baja's growth. Michelle's behind the scenes powerhouse whose quiet strength and strategic vision continue to build success from the ground up. I'm excited to have you too, Michelle. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Teresa.
And then Carmen Chong. Carmen is the CEO of the Global Real Estate Alliance, also known as ARIA Global. She's a dynamic connector and international strategist. Carmen leads a global network that links ARIA, which is the Asian Real Estate Association of America, the members to developers and projects around the world, turning relationships into results through innovation and collaboration. And I'm excited to have you as well, Carmen.
Good morning.
So, one of the things that I always ask every one of participants, because I'm really interested to know, is number one, how did you find real estate? How did you get in this career that we all are passionate about? And also, I want to know about your markets because they're very unique and we are in different parts and what you do, like Carmen versus Michelle, as well as Marina. So, I'm going to start with you, Marina.
Okay. So, I think real estate somehow found me rather than the other way around. I started with a passion for beautiful homes, beautiful people, and architecture. So over the time, that passion turned into a career. And eventually, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Palazzo Estate, which represent today our brand across northern and central Italy, from Lake Como and Milan to Turin, the Piedmont wine region, and Tuscany coast. So, what makes our corner of the world so extraordinary? Honestly, I think it's everything because the mix of art, history, and that special Italian lifestyle that people dreams about. And every property in Italy tells its own story. It could be a 17th century villa on Lake Como, or a beach house in Forte dei Marmi, or a vineyard in Barolo. Each one has its own soul. And the best part, I get to call it work, but it's often not just work. It feels more like falling in love with Italy over and over again. So, I think we don't have to forget that Italy isn't only a beautiful country. It's a country, surprisingly affordable country. For example, Italian espresso cost about €1 and 20 cents, and you can enjoy a lovely meal in a very good restaurant just for 25, 30 euros. So beautiful homes, great food, and good coffee. What else you can dream about?
What a great combination. Right? Who cannot love what they do when they're in Italy, right? I can imagine. One of my favorite movies is an oldie but a goodie, Under the Tuscan Sun. And I love that movie because it reminds me of falling in love with a beautiful city and just going blindly into buying and then realizing what a great investment it was. So, Marina, I envy you. What a great opportunity and what a great job that you have. And I love hearing how you got into it. Michelle, how about you? Because you're also very unique in that you, like Marina, and Marina, we're going to talk about this later on in the broadcast, are not originally from Mexico. You actually found yourself there. And so, how did you find real estate?
Right. Well, for those who aren't familiar with Los Cabos, it's at the very end of the Baja Peninsula, which runs parallel to mainland Mexico. And so if you got in your car in California, San Diego, and just drove straight south until you hit the ocean, that's where I am. And it's a beautiful area of the world, essentially where the desert meets the sea. So it's quite a dichotomy of an experience. The culture, the food, the people, the warmth of the people, and the weather really make it a unique global destination. And, over the last 10 years, I'd say it's gone from just a vacation hotspot to now a second primary home market for many because of our connectivity throughout North America. On the weekly, we are essentially adding flights from all over Canada, all over the US. We now have direct flights from Spain, Portugal, Australia, England. So we are growing, and the exposure that we have now globally is constantly growing as well. So it's a wonderful place to come visit and explore. And so, how I got into real estate, well, it was shortly after COVID, crazy COVID. I was actually, my husband's going to kill me, but I was actually listening to him constantly groan and complain. And he had already been working in the field for many years. And I remember him getting so frustrated because everything was just so crazy and chaotic after COVID. And he was getting so frustrated with the lack of client commitment and integrity and professionalism from other agents and brokerages. And, rather than continuing on this path of madness, I said, okay, well, maybe we should do something about it. And that just happened to be coincide with timing where a wonderful gentleman named Frank Perticizzi uh, introduced himself to us and wanted to bring down the Berkshire Hathaway brand. And so Ian, my husband, and we took a look at each other and we analyzed our strengths, our weaknesses, the whole SWOT analysis. And we realized that our individual skill sets and capabilities really complemented each other nicely. So we decided to open up our own brokerage and focused on raising the standards of business in our market and provide our clients with an experience that they deserve, especially buying in a foreign market, because unfortunately there are a lot of myths and stigma about purchasing in Mexico. So that's probably the largest thing that we deal with upfront with clients is just clarification and just resolving a lot of that uneasiness that they might have about purchasing real estate in Mexico. I'd love to say that we have $1 euro cafes, but we do not. Or going out for a nice dinner would cost us 25 to 30 euros. That is not the case. But you can still get, I know I can still feed my family of five, great tacos for $20. So that's a win. But but other than that, we are very much resort living, resort prices. But we are a magical destination, and following our sort of guiding principles, it's served us well. We opened in 2021, and just in Los Cabos, and 4 years later, we now service the entire state of Baja California Sur.
Oh, and I love Baja. I love that
Mm,
area. Los Cabos is beautiful, and I can certainly relate to the cost of it's not, you're really in a very luxurious part of Mexico. And so kudos, Michelle, and to you and to Ian, because you all have done a beautiful job in really
thank you.
capturing and educating consumers who are interested in buying in Mexico because you have that as your innate, being that you were new to the state yourself when you relocated there, you understand all that goes into it. So thank you again for letting us know your background. Now, Carmen and I go way back. We were both presidents at the same time of two major organizations. I was the president of the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals when Carmen Tung was the president of the Asian Real Estate Association of America. So we've been friends and known each other since that very moment. I've absolutely loved everything that Carmen stands for and everything she
Mhm.
does. And taking over Aria Global as their CEO, and what they do is an incredible art because I think, Carmen, yours is very unique. So talk a little bit about your real estate background because you are also real estate, but also a little bit about what Aria does and what their, role in the global space is.
Thank you, Teresa. Well, nobody decided to become a real estate agent or real estate broker or whatnot, right? Somebody has to inspire you, or somebody touch you and say, "Hey, you gotta do that." So that's how I got into real estate. But it was a long journey of resilience because I came from Nicaragua, as you might know, Teresa. I mean, I flee from the Civil War in, gosh, 1979, I think it was. Now it's been a long, long time at the young age and not knowing, what's going to happen to me and my younger brother. We were just by ourselves with another family and didn't know even as to which household I was going to be at, right? I had two letters. One family declined us to take us in because having two teenagers is very difficult. And but anyways, I did that. We settled. I went to school. I knew that I had to work hard, and that I had to go and study in a career where it was something that was going to give me income right away, which is accounting services. And then from there, when I thought I was going to become a CFO of a manufacturing company and all that, but one of my friends just she insisted every day she would call me at work and she would say, "Let's go shopping." And I'm like, "I cannot. I have a 9 to 5 job." And then she says, "Let's go. I'm going to have to get you to in." And she was in the loan side, in the financial lending mortgage consultant back then. And then I said, "Okay, fine." At that time, this was like in the early 1980s. I think that's when the Latino community started buying homes, right? So they wanted me for my language skills. So I knew how to speak Spanish and I knew how to speak Chinese. So I didn't know anything about what it was in the mortgage business, but I learned. I went through a lot. But you know what happened? I decided to go from working from an institutional bank to a wholesale broker to a corresponding bank. And then in 2006, I decided to open my own company in the mortgage business. As you know, 2008, the meltdown of the banking industry. I just didn't know what to do. And this is how I found about ARIA, Asian Real Estate Association of America. They were having a conference. And when I went to that conference, I kid you not, it's where a bulb light came up, right? I needed to adapt to what was happening. So that's how I got into the real estate, where I had to close my banking business and then open up real estate. How do you get into real estate? Well, the first thing I did was to find the top producing agent from one of the large brokerages. And I told him about my vision that we need to help, we need to educate, we need to do a lot more for the Latino community because they're very trusting. And unfortunately, they were taken advantage of. So for me, my market was mostly Latinos, Hispanic community versus the Asian or Chinese, right, or American. And when I was working there in the mortgage company, they always laugh at me because I was spending like 3 hours on an appointment with a family versus they would just spend like 20 minutes to an hour maximum with the clients. So that's where my passion got into. Aria is the one that is what kind of saved me, and that's why I'm paying it forward by continuing to serve this organization and now leading the global side. And a little bit about that. We met the Jim Park, the John Wong, the Alan Nakamoto, so, and then met beautiful people like yourself, Teresa, with organizations. I think that is very important in our business, that we are in the industry that we are, that we should or be part of or belong to an association. So what does ARIA Global does? So when I became, well, just let's go back. When I found ARIA in 2008, I think it was 2009, I was just a member. Then in 2011, decided to start a new chapter in San Francisco. So, and then in 2015, became the national president. And then in 2016, I thought I was done. I'm going to go back to my business because it does take a lot of time. I had 5 small offices to serve the Latino community between Northern California and Southern California. And I had about 160 agents back then, of course, with the help of many other people around me. But slowly, I started move over to serve more to the organization. So in 2015, I thought I was done, Teresa. And in 2016, Mr. Alan Chang, 2009 national chairman of ARIA, asked me to come and join the global entity. So I did, like anything, but I can never say no, Teresa. That's my problem. They invited me to become a board director. Then the next thing I know, when Obama was in leadership, he opened Cuba, right, for us to visit. And that's where it dawned to me. I said, I wanted to bring a group of our ARIA members to Cuba to get that experience, but I had to do it with the real estate, as something that had to do with real estate, right? Because otherwise I can't justify having a trip to go over there. So I had about 38 people, and that's the start of my love to travel, to give that lifetime experience to our members. And then this is when the light came out where we needed to connect around the world. We need to expand our networking. We need to create business opportunities to our ARIA members so that they can sustain themselves. You can no longer be just inside in your state, in your region, in your neighborhood. You have to go outside and bring the business back in. So there's so much that I wanted to do. So since 2016 until today, we have what we call a great board of directors with great opportunities that we open up with new developers from all over the world. I want to do more. And also education, transparency about doing business in different countries. It's not the same. And now with how we are, the baby boomers are coming out. They're looking outside of the United States to move back to their own countries. That is in my situation, right? Even though I'm from Nicaragua, but my background is Chinese. I may not go back to China, but I may go and have a home in Mexico, in Riviera Maya. I may have a second home in Vietnam because I love the food. I may just travel in Europe, right? Like you said, Marina, I mean, $1.25. I was in Milan. I was just drinking espresso. Yeah. 2 or 3 of them, enjoying it with a little piece of pastry. It was just different. So I love to bring that into global. And I think that that's how it attracted more of the members to join in and to really help them to expand their business. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it's very, very
it's very fulfilling. And yes, and one of the things that you do so beautifully, and I think that ARIA does, is that it does recognize companies like ours, Marina and Michelle, and connects your company with the developers that you may know and be aware of that are in your area. And when you provide that lead to Aria Global, they're able to protect you as the lead generator of that opportunity and make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you are paid a commission when anyone is referred to that developer for business. And the
Yep.
agent that refers it also gets protected as well. So I love that that is the goal that you have at Aria Global because it encourages cross-border opportunities, which is the next question I have. Because as leaders, I know that leading in another country is very different. You all stated that business practices are very different in where you are. So, what's the biggest lesson that you have learned about doing business across different markets and cultures? I'll start with you, Michelle.
I think for me, what I've learned over the years is, I've had to train myself to think bigger picture, to think more globally. As Carmen mentioned, there are many people now who are really considering themselves as global citizens, not just living full time in one country. It's very, very common now to have multiple homes or condos across the world. And especially here with the diversity in clientele that we see, I found it absolutely imperative to have a global perspective on trends that are happening worldwide, paying attention to events everywhere so that there's a little bit of talking knowledge that you can share and discuss with your clients. Geopolitical factors, that's been a big one recently, and just being aware of the effects on not just North America, but the world at large, and how they really can signal opportunities for both our clients as well as our business. And just be on top of, the country that I'm living in and now call home. We've had such huge changes in the last few years, and especially with this new administration taking over, Claudia
First
Sheinbaum.
female president.
Oh my gosh, it was moving. And I have to tell you, when she did the Cry of Dolores, it's on YouTube. I wept because it
Yes.
was so powerful. And I
Yes.
didn't realize how impactful it was for her, but also for the people. And the Zocalo in Mexico City was so packed. It was sardines, and just you could feel the
Mm-hmm.
energy through the video. It was so moving. And so to hear her 5-year and 10-year plans, it's extremely inspirational. It's extremely motivating and exciting for everybody who's doing business here and living here in Mexico, because we are slowly climbing up that ladder of, economic powerhouse, industrial powerhouse, tourism powerhouse, and it's only showing great potential for this market and for people who are interested in buying in this market, which we now see from pretty much all corners of the earth. So just having that global perspective has been so valuable for me.
Wow. I love that. Marina, how about you?
That's a wonderful question. Over the years, I've learned that doing business internationally is really about understanding people before business. So each culture has its own rhythm. For example, how people communicate, how make decisions and build trust. So
Mm-hmm.
what feels natural and strong and very fast in the United States or in the UK can feel too direct for Italy
Mm-hmm.
or too slow for Germany. So the most important thing I think is to approach each culture with curiosity and respect. And I think it's important to listen first and observe and then approach. And once people feel that you understand their way of doing things, real relationships begin. And in the real estate, like in life, strong relationship are everything. I think so.
I think that is so insightful because there are so many different personalities that are of every different culture that of how business is done. And so learning that, especially in a place like Italy where you have so many people coming from all different parts of the world and how each culture understands or practices real estate is really critical. Maureen, that's very insightful. Carmen, I'm going to go with this question with you. Can you share a moment when stepping outside your comfort zone completely changed the game for you? Because I think we all have moments where we realize that something now that we've done has changed our trajectory. And you may have already answered it when you first went to Aria, but maybe not. Tell me.
Oh, that's a tough question because there's a lot of things that could affect your planning so well. You had your business strategy and all that. Well, I think that we have to take it as it comes. We cannot let ourselves go down because as leader, we had to show strength. We had to show positiveness. We had to show, even though you're dying inside, right? Like things are not turning out the way that you want. But as a leader, I think that along the way, with so many years, since 2008, I think that you learned how to approach to those type of things that you might not like it. For me, I mean, even looking back, it's like, don't think that it's the end of the world. I think that the reason why it's happening is because somehow I'll call it God, right? It set you in a path where it's making you stronger or something else better comes out. So it is something that is just out there. And I saw that during my whole journey coming to the United States. I didn't know what to do. So I always think about resilience. And we just finished our conference in for ARIA, right? Our word was resilience. And we do. We definitely need to continue to do that. And it's not fun to be out of the comfort zone, right? But then the more you are in that space, I think it makes you even better, a better version of yourself, I think. Take it back, rewind, but do it yourself only. Just, don't show it out there because you're the leader. You have to show that
Strength,
there's
right?
nothing that can take you down, right? So anyways.
Well, first of all, I love that you shared your trip and journey from a young adult, right? A young teen to a foreign country where you had to start anew, just you and your brother. That's a lot of courage and that's a lot of resilience. I can imagine that took a lot, of perseverance to be able
Mhm.
to get to where you are. So kudos and so proud of you, for sure, Carmen, for sharing that with us. Each of you have a very unique way that you operate, and from expansion to operations to partnerships. What's one leadership decision that you have made that terrified you when you were trying to make that decision, but turned out to be the right one? Marina, I'll start with you.
So, there was a moment in my life, a lot of them, but one leadership decision was when taking on the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services brand for Italy was, very challenging for me. Decisions and require vision, courage, and a lot of responsibilities. So, in my life, it was in quite a few moments. I have been quite a few moments when I have to think before, but without thinking. I've just done it. It's all. So one of the biggest was when I moved in Italy without even knowing a single word of Italian. So it was exciting and terrifying for me at the same time, but because it was a completely new country, culture, and language. And then after building the solid career in the large multinational semiconductor company with a stable contract, I made that what many considered a crazy decision. I left everything behind to start a brand new challenge in my life in real estate and industry I had never worked in before, and as a foreign, no less. So it was really tough moments, yeah, in my life.
I can imagine. I can only imagine, number one. But Marina, I think a lot of people can relate to you because look at this space right here. Everyone here has done that. They've moved from a country that they are, I mean, that takes so much courage. I always think about my parents because I was born in the US, but I think about my mom and dad coming from Colombia, not speaking English, only Spanish, a whole different culture, and starting just with nothing but themselves. So I'm so, I feel so much for individuals that do that. So, Marina, again, I totally understand and feel a lot of courage for you and
Thank
empathy for you, for sure, because you've done an incredible job with our brand in Italy. Michelle, how about you?
Yeah, so yes, absolutely. There's an absolute theme that runs among this fabulous panelist of strong women, and same story. And coming down from Canada, I was a little bit more, I was fortunate because I was quite young when I chose to move down to Mexico. And I was very lucky to have identified quite early that my life wasn't going down the path that I wanted it to. I had two very small children, babies, like 6 months old, 2 years old. And I was absolutely getting caught up in that rat race. Day in, day out, my life was the same, scrambling to get home to take care of the kids. And it was like Groundhog Day. Every day was the same. And I realized that my days were getting longer and my time obviously was becoming more scarce. And with a young family, that's just not what I signed up for. So, moving down to Mexico, again, like you, Marina, not knowing a word of English, Spanish, except for, of course, like tequila and baño and por favor, the basics. Moving down, leaving my family behind in Canada and, wanting that small town Mexico living. It was so daunting, but I'm the type of person who burns the ships. That's it. There's no plan B. I'm all in and I'm doing it. That's it. And so I did. And that was probably, well, the most challenging and nerve-wracking decision I've ever had to make. But it was also one of the best decisions I've ever made because it completely changed who I am and who I thought I was. I was a woman who is now resilient and adaptable, and I knew how strong I was now, and that really gave me the foundation and the confidence to take on the role as COO, because that was quite daunting as well to be that person. And I kept asking Ian, I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? And he's like, Michelle, absolutely. I'm like a walking dichotomy. I'm a conservative liberal. I'm in school, I double majored in accounting, but loved marketing, so he's like, you're exactly the brain that we need behind the curtains. And I'm like, perfect. But it was professionally, it was taking on the role of COO and knowing that the decisions that I make will have a direct impact on my business, our business, my well-being and my family's well-being, and other people and their well-being. And that in turn has turned out to be one of the most rewarding aspects of my position because I can institute change and watch it positively affect the lives of others.
I love
So,
that. I love
you.
it. And
mhm.
for those who aren't familiar with your background, you actually are from Canada originally.
Right. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so you moved from Canada, one part of the world, all the way down to Mexico, which is
Right.
such a difference, not only in culture,
Mhm.
language, everything. So what a great way to really reinvent yourself. I love it because that's
Right.
pretty much what you really discovered is these things that you probably didn't know that you could do and that you were able to accomplish. I love that. Carmen, how
Absolutely.
about you?
Oh my gosh, so many things, but I'm gonna stick with the organization, right? Since I started the serving the organization, opening a chapter, and then I felt myself that I was just, somebody innocent, naive. How am I gonna uh, put my application to become the national president of ARIA, right? I mean, Teresa, it's like maybe about 10 minutes before the deadline was closing.
Wow.
I said, but the one thing that made me wanted to do is because of what Aria gave me when I was in the tough times during the 2008, 2009.
Mm.
And I wanted to give back that, right, to those who maybe just starting their business or, nobody was born to become a real estate agent or professional broker or whatnot. It just, right? So I wanted to do that and then to see how I can serve and give back. So that was one thing that I did, and I will never regret it. It's a lot of work, you guys. It's a lot of work, right, Teresa? You get so many different personalities here and there. You're trying to help the chapter to gain more, more members and whatnot, the budget, et cetera, and things like that. Though we do have a staff that will help us. So that was one of the things that I felt like the biggest decision I will never, never regret to become the national president in 2015. 2016, as I mentioned earlier, I was pulling to getting to know about ARIA Global. And then in 2025, 24 actually, so along the way, I helped, build this business opportunity and connection and networking and education, transparency, right, with other worlds, connecting all of us. 2024, we decided to separate the ARIA Global from ARIA because ARIA is a non-trade organization, right?
Nonprofit.
It's
Yes, it's a
nonprofit trade
501c3. Yes.
organization,
Yeah.
501c6.
C6.
And for global, it's a business, right? It's bringing opportunities. So we didn't want to jeopardize that. And there was a lot of back and forth decisions and all. I was against that because I'm here to serve ARIA. So if we separate that, are we gonna still be a family, right? Am I gonna still serve that purpose in my life that I made that decision back in 2015? But it was the right decision.
It
It
is the right
definitely was the
decision.
right
Yeah.
decision. Now
Yeah.
we can do things that we don't have to worry about,
With a nonprofit status.
hurting. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
We can definitely go straight directly to do the business, bring in the business back in, do an LLC, do DBA. I mean, there's so much that we can do now since 2024. We started doing a global summit. The very first one was in Mexico City in 2023, which we have never done before. It was very scary. Going to put a summit with no staff. We have
Right.
zero staff. This is just volunteers, you guys.
Yes.
And then in 2024, we did in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City. This year we did in Japan, which was great because now people are starting to come to our summit, and we're talking about real estate professionals from that country who wants to connect with us here in the US, right, with our organization. So I'm so happy about that. And next year we're going to go to Korea. So we're going to continue to build this. It's still with the heart and soul of all the volunteers that I have in my board. But we have to make money so that we can hire some staff to help us
Exactly.
expand
So
even
you can
more.
able to do it, which what
Yes.
a lot of people don't realize is that when you become a president or national of any of the organizations like ARIA, this is NAR is an exception. You don't get paid. We're all volunteers. We're not paid a single dime to do this work. And it's like you take a year off of your life, of your work
And of
to
your
be able
business, yeah.
to do
Wow.
business. So I love that y'all have done that. And what a great way to really help the organization grow as well. Marina, I haven't heard Italy being part of that. So maybe Carmen in 2027.
Yes.
Yes, Italy will be your
No,
next location, right?
definitely. My first thing was like Latin
Okay.
America and
Yeah,
then Asia.
yeah,
And then Sherry Chris, as you know, Sherry was saying, no,
yes,
Carmen, you had to really build that relationship stronger with Asia.
yeah.
And then you can go to the other countries.
I
So
love it.
Europe
I
is my
agree.
next thing that I'm looking at.
Good
And
idea.
yes.
Awesome.
So
Mexico, we're
what?
done, but we're gonna continue that. Yes.
Yes, you've been in Mexico, you now Asia because obviously Asian Real Estate Association makes sense. But then let's conquer the world, right?
Yeah.
So one thing that I love is everyone sees all the great stuff. But I'm going to ask you, what about something that you really did not, it was a setback that almost made you question yourself and how did you push through it? Because people want to hear the negative too, like, oh my God, because they only see, in fact, I just saw Joanna Gaines, an article that she had a Christmas tree that she was decorating, but she ran out of bulbs out of the Christmas decorations. So she only decorated the front of the tree, right? But it looked beautiful. But she wanted to show to everyone the backside because she wanted to share, look, I even make mistakes. What you see looks beautiful, but I wanted to see that I didn't decorate the back of the tree, right? So that you could see that I even, as a interior decorator, and make judge this mistakes sometimes, not realizing how many things I need, right? I thought was beautiful because it really shared her. Hey, I've done that where oh my God, I don't have enough. How are we going to cover this? I'll start with you, Michelle.
Um, okay, this is a little bit difficult because throughout my life, I've had a lot of setbacks, professionally, personally. Um, and I was a little bit hard pressed to find and to single out one particular situation. But as I mentioned before, personally, I'm just the type of person who really, there is no plan B for me. So I really push through and I sit down and, if something happens that I need to find a way around, over, under, whatever it takes to get it done, that's the type of personality I am. So I will absolutely embrace the difficult. And I use an analogy oftentimes, especially with my family, to stretch the elastic. And and I just have to remind myself that, if it's uncomfortable, do it. If you have to push the boundaries, do it, because that's where the magic happens. That's oftentimes where the growth and opportunity are. So I always have to constantly remind myself, just it's okay to stretch that elastic. Business, professionally speaking, I tend to tread a little bit more carefully, obviously. But I think the biggest thing I try to do is to learn, to constantly learn from all of my experiences, good and bad. And I, in turn, try to define the rules of the game that I'm playing so that I could potentially avoid having those setbacks. So whether that might be being more selective with clients, I used to be the yes person. Yes, 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 yes. Even though I knew I was heading into, you know, madness with this client, I would, okay, no problem. But now I've learned to pull back and say, you know what? No, I don't think so. It's just worked for me. Setting realistic expectations from the get-go, being really transparent from all parties involved, setting boundaries. That was a big one for me because, again, I was a yes person. I really had a difficult time saying no. But by instituting these and following these sort of rules, I call them, it's really helped me to avoid a lot more of those setbacks that I potentially could have run into if I didn't learn from all of those, successes and failures.
I think that's great and very poignant. One of the things that we learn, right, from the mistakes that we make, I think that's always your best, way to really move forward and not be
Mhm.
afraid to just do it, right?
Right.
Because all you can do is just step, just get back up again. Marina, I want to ask you this question because we're almost running out of time. What would you tell a woman who's sitting in Rome, Tijuana, or Little Rock, who dreams of building something big but feels intimidated by the thought and doesn't know where to start?
Oh, that is such an important question. So I would tell her, don't wait until you will feel ready. Just start. None of us ever really feel ready when we take the first step towards the big, something big. So don't be afraid to fail a little along your way, because every mistake teach you something new. So I could tell her, or yes, something like that. It's very important to understand that you are
Just
strong, you can do
do
it.
it, right?
Yeah,
Just do it.
The
yeah.
Nike,
Just do it.
beautiful, right? Just do it.
Just do it, just to start, just
Yeah.
start, just
Yes.
take your first step, and then you strong enough to do it, to be successful. So just do it, just to you have to start, and
You
then you
just
will.
did. Don't think it, like I know there people are like, oh, it's got to be perfect. It's got to do this.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of chapters and a lot of, still with my role, and a lot of councils across the country. And I always say, it's perfect. You don't need to plan anymore. Let's execute. Let's get it done, because they get so caught in the details
Mm-hmm.
that they don't execute. So again, just get it done. All right, Carmen, for you, one of the things that I think is really important is how beautiful you build relationships. You really are so good at that. So what do we all need to, what do you believe is the secret behind that, especially with Aria? Because that's the key to going across and developing relationships with these developers, where they will say, yes, I want to pay a commission for
Mm-hmm.
you and your agents to bring my, business to my country.
So, yeah, I think that's my secret weapon. I just smile to them. No, just kidding. No, well, I think that first and foremost, you always have to respect the person you're going to be talking to. You have to find the value that you can give and also that they can give you, and make them look at it, even a bigger picture as to why it is important for them to be able to, in this case, for new developers, to promote with us, right? To open up doors, opportunities to an Asian-based database of real estate professionals, and be able to picture to them as to why it will be successful for them to be part of it. But I think that more than anything, it's respecting. Take your time to get to know that person that you're talking to, the manners, the voice, and all that, and you adapt yourself. I don't know what this is selling skills or what, but you adapt yourself to that person that you're talking to. Not everybody's the same. Find out what it is that they are looking for. Listen to them, right? Because each developer is different. No, I want this and this. Some developers, they don't need your help, but hey, why don't you just put your logo into our website, and then at least and so I'm always
Exposure,
trying to find ways. Some
opportunity.
developers don't care, they're having out there, but hey, don't you wanna support an Asian Real Estate Association of America that have members that are looking also to expand? So yeah, that's great. Same thing with sponsors or partners, right? And there are others that want to be handheld. They want us to find them investors. And
Yeah.
then I say to them, investors, everybody wants investors, right?
Mhm.
What is then your development that's going to be good for us to be able to invest in? So you had to provide education. You had to tell me why your development is better than the other development that is down the road. I go to the conferences in AMPI. A lot of them approach me and go, I have warehouse, I have lots, I have this, I'm from Querétaro, I'm from all these cities that I'm like going, come on, there's so many. Mexico is so big.
Yeah.
And then I said, first and foremost, you guys, I love that you're very excited about telling me what you have as inventory, but you need to tell me, why should I invest, or why should our membership invest in your
Right. Because
place?
our membership, Aria's membership,
Yeah.
has clients,
Mhm.
and they need to, that's the thing. It's not just me as me and an
No.
agent. My clients may be interested in buying in your area, and there's thousands of clients if you have
Mhm.
hundreds of members. So
Mhm.
I think that's the key piece that Aria has been able to do, and you've been able to do so beautifully too, Carmen, in
Yeah.
leading this group. As we round out, I only have two more questions for each of for you, and I want each of you to answer real quickly. What's one daily habit, ritual, or mindset that keeps you grounded when life or business starts to move a little too fast, that you can lead, share with others, that you say, this is my secret to success. This is what keeps me grounded every day. I'll start with you, Marina.
Uh, it's my I prefer these questions, because I really the best way to stay grounded for me is to take my dog for a walk and a bit of movement. So no matter how busy things get, I go out for a walk and quick workout with my dog. So he's here.
Wait, what
So
kind of dog?
it's the German Shepherd.
Oh,
Oh, they're so
He's here
beautiful.
now.
Yes.
I
beautiful.
don't know
My daughter
if
has
he's
one.
Oh,
Oh, what's her name?
so it's Max. Max. His name is
Fox.
Max. So,
So getting him
then
out.
I enjoy a cup of green tea, and
Mm.
it's my little daily ritual before I'm starting something to do something. So it's
Love
my
it.
secret.
Love it. People can relate to that because that is a
Mhm.
big part of the US culture. We love our dogs,
Mhm.
our fur babies.
Mhm.
Michelle, how about you?
I think it runs along the same theme as Marina in that uh, taking pleasure and enjoyment with the simple things and the little things, because those are the things that really are readily available any time of day and are all around you. And for example, my husband Ian and I, every morning before we start our day, so before we open up our computers and look at our phones and check emails and, jump into that chaos, we make ourselves, a magical coffee, how we love it. We sit down, just the two of us, and we just chat. And we take probably about, it varies sometimes, but half an hour to just talk, and not necessarily about work, but maybe it's the things that, in our day ahead, or maybe it's about the kids or
Mhm.
our next vacation or a funny meme I saw the other day or whatever it might be. But it just leaves the chaos outside, allows us to refocus on each other and on the important things in life, just by doing something simple as just pouring yourself a cup of coffee and sitting down and just chatting. So that's probably my biggest enjoyment, or what I could do to help me remove myself from the chaos, is just to enjoy the little things and the simple things in life.
Beautiful. That's your everyday routine, is that
Mhm.
morning coffee.
Every day.
And
Mhm.
oh, I love it. How about you, Carmen? And then we'll move to our last question because we are running out of time.
All right. So for me, first thing I do is take my hot water with ginger and lemon. You have to do that first thing in the morning and then have your coffee. So that is like a ritual that I will not let go. Okay. And then when I wake up, actually, I always count my blessings. I smiled and then let the whatever the day is going to be. So when things get tough, then I just look at photos. My daughters, they're not with me. I'm a single mom right now. And then I'm living all by myself in this 2,800 square foot home, which I'm thinking about, my next chapter,
Yes.
because now that they're out. But I really do count my blessings. I do always pray and thank, God for keeping us all safe, my family. I still have family in Costa Rica. We moved the rest of my family moved from Nicaragua to Costa Rica. So just that. And then nothing is, you know, unless you pass away, nothing
Yeah.
is really, how do you say, can be fixed, right?
Yes.
So definitely, when things gets tough, just take time to yourself. You're not a robot, right?
Yeah.
We're human beings. We have to take a deep breath and then listen to nice music sometimes. I do now take my little salt bath since I have my tub. a new top now. So I take time of that when things gets rough. So, but definitely I think that counting your blessing, looking at all the great things that you have done with your family, with your colleagues, with your in this case, my board, right? And it's just seeing how much they're giving, then I have to do the same. So I cannot fail that.
I
So
love it.
that's
You
what I
all
do.
have the same message, right?
Mhm.
Pretty much the same. It's you, and it's also your family. It's also your beautiful fur babies,
Mhm.
and taking that time to just kind of say, "Hey, let's talk about each other," right? Because it's the one-on-one that makes the difference. All right, 30 seconds each. One book that you, or podcast or quote that refills your cup. And I'll start with you, Marina, that you recommend.
Okay, I could recommend How I Build This by Guy Raz. It's absolutely classic. It's a very honest and fascinating conversation with a founder which built brands like Airbnb, Spanx, Patagonia. And another one, I would recommend The Diary of a CEO. I love to listen to this too.
And that's a podcast, The Day of a CEO.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
the daily
okay. I
deal.
like
Yeah,
that. I've not heard of that one. I love the book. I think that's an
yeah.
excellent recommendation. Carmen?
I don't read, I'm sorry. I like to watch.
And what do
I
you
like
like to watch?
movies. I like that. But now I have to say women who lead now because it
Oh, I love
inspires,
that.
right?
Oh,
For
thank
me
you.
is the quote that I would say is pay it forward. Anything, there must be something that, that somebody help you. So pay it forward. Be bigger than yourself that you can be. So be the
And you
best.
do such a beautiful job with that, Carmen. You really, really do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Michelle, I'll let it sit with you.
I heard a super cute quote the other day, and it's almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you.
Oh, that is a
I love
good one.
that.
Yes. Right. Just unplug it like our
Yeah.
printer.
And I do that too.
Always the question. And people will ask you, you call IT, well, is it plugged in? Did you unplug it and plug it back in?
There's a switch on and off.
I think
Right.
that's perfect. Way to end our show today. A perfect quote. Thank you again, all of you, for being here. It's been such an inspiring conversation. And I want to thank you, Marina, Michelle, and Carmen, for showing us that leadership isn't bound by geography. It's definitely defined by your passion, perseverance, and your purpose, which all of you do so beautifully. Today's stories, to me, remind us all that being a trailblazing spirit, if you are wanting to call yourself that, is having the courage to take that first step, believing in yourself, even when it's hard, and lighting the way for others to follow. I think that's my biggest takeaway today. For all of you, I really want to thank you for being with us. Join me next month for another episode of Women Who Lead. We're going to have that on December 17th. I'm sorry, December 10th. And then Diversity Matters will take place on December 17th, where I'm going to share why diversity truly matters to me. So, a lot of people ask me that question. So that show I'm going to dedicate to talking about why it's important for us to take that into consideration. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow our podcast. And remember, your legacy is every life you touch, and your voice has the power to change the world. Until next time, keep leading with courage, authenticity, and with heart. Thank you, everyone.